Hello, YNABers. My name is Jesse Meekum, and this is podcast number 2 for You Need a Budget, where we teach 4 rules to help you stop living paycheck to paycheck, get out of debt, and save more money. For our inaugural podcast, we talked about Rule 4, trying to get people to stop living paycheck to paycheck, and people means you. For today, for podcast number 2, we're going to talk about Rule 1. Rule 1 is to give every dollar a job. You're a drill sergeant. You're the boss. Rule 1, though there's a little secret to it, it's actually just short-term goal setting. We'll talk about Rule 2 maybe next week, where we look to longer-term goals and those larger, less frequent expenses. Not always expenses, also cool things like Christmas and Disneyland, vacations, things like that. But we'll get there next time. Rule 1, it's just about telling your money what to do. Mini goals until you get more money, and then you set more mini goals. A year ago, we hiked the Grand Canyon as a family, not with my kids, but like with my parents and siblings. And when you hike the Grand Canyon, you start out on the south rim, and then you hike down into the canyon and back out onto the north rim, and then you usually take a day break, and then early that following day, you hike back from the north rim down into the canyon and back up and out on the south rim again. And you are sore, and it is tiring, and it's a massive elevation change, but if you love the outdoors and you love hiking, it is unbelievable. So we did that, and we got there on a Friday evening on the South Rim, and then Saturday morning before the sun comes up, we start on the trail. And we hike all day, going down into the canyon. You get to see the sun come up and hit the north rim or the north side of the canyon as you're down in the canyon. It's very, very cool. I think my dad's a little bit obsessed with it. He's done it too many times to count. I did it for my first time last year, and I can see a little bit why he loved it so much. Anyway, we hike all day, go down into the canyon, we cross the bottom, and then toward the end of the day, you start hiking up the north side of the canyon. And the end, or what you think is the end, ends up being just one switchback after another. And it's not steep, but it's uphill the entire time, and it's just switchback city. So to stay mentally ahead of the curve, I started setting these mini goals for myself. I couldn't say something like, I'll go for 30 minutes and start a timer. It was too long, and my mind wasn't going to let me commit myself to something that seemed so unbearably long at the time. So I had to break it down into much smaller, more manageable increments. So I started saying that I would go 4 switchbacks, then reassess my situation. I had to resist the urge to say that I'd go 8 or 18 switchbacks. 4 was very doable. So you hit one, hit another, and then another. Stop for a second, see how I'm feeling, look up, give myself 4 more. I wouldn't look too far up. It was just a mental game, trying to make sure that I understood that I just had to go a little bit further, and then I could change and see how things are going. Rule 1 is basically saying that same thing. You don't want to go super far into the future. Just look ahead, especially as you're getting out of different tight situations that you may find yourself in. You don't have the luxury necessarily of looking too far into the future. You're dealing with the here and now. And you'll get out of that, and you'll be able to look further ahead. But for the point of Rule 1, you really are just dealing with the here and now. And that's what lets you make really good decisions. So you have these goals until you get more money. You get a paycheck, you deposit it, you say, I've got $2,000 now, and what are my goals with that $2,000? And when you get more money, you do the same thing again. You get another $2,000, you say, okay, what are my goals with this money? Again and again and again. It's very basic and very short-term goals. Brian Tracy writes a book called Goals, because I say that because it has an exclamation point at the end of it. Good book. And solid goal-setting principles in there. He says this, if what you are doing is not moving you towards your goals, then it is moving you away from your goals. Profound. No, it really is actually pretty good in the sense of money management, and maybe as you think about how things were before you started budgeting, before you got a handle on your money, you weren't moving toward your goals. You were actually moving further away, just as he says here. You're moving away from your goals. So if you're not moving toward them, you're going away. That's clear. And you can see that with with credit card debt that's being stacked up on every single person that's unaware. They are literally moving away. They're not on a treadmill. They are standing still on an escalator, and it's going down, and they're being buried by credit card debt. It's just a matter of them being aimless. And everyone's been aimless at some point in their life. And it's okay that you were aimless at some point, because now you're taking aim and you have a whole different outlook, and you are setting these goals and you're reaching them. And the thing that I like about mini goals is that your reach rate is very, very high. So rule 1 is goals. That's why we have to start with these 4 rules. That's why we start with rule 1, because it's like the gas for your financial car. It's what gets you moving. You aren't just going to go out and purchase life insurance, even though that's a great goal. You don't just go out and purchase life insurance because it's really fun to purchase. You don't get any rush from that. You won't invest for the future because that purchase of those stocks or bonds or mutual fund or an index fund, because it gives you some kind of immediate benefit, unless you're a day trader and you get this adrenaline rush from investing in stocks and trying to time the market and losing your shirt. We won't go there. But you have goals that are further out there that need accomplishing, like life insurance, like a will, like saving for a new car so that you don't have to borrow for the next one. And rule 1 is really all about that. It's just about letting you say these are what are important to me. Even though it doesn't give me this immediate benefit, you have this vision where you can say, yeah, life insurance, that is important to me. Saving for a new car that's 4 years away. I hope we're on the 4th year of our 4-year plan to save for a new car. The handle on our van just broke off again. So I'm kind of crossing my fingers it'll die and justify our purchase of a new car. Anyway, to get there, to get to where you have these long-term goals that you're looking toward and looking forward to, you have to sort through the here and now. And you have to make sure you can handle what is being demanded of you right now. Bills, emergencies, obligations that are current and urgent that are maybe from past mistakes. These are all goals. They're just kind of forced upon you, and it's okay. And then you have other goals that maybe don't sound like goals at first, but I have the goal of providing a roof over my family for every single day. I have a goal of putting food on the table 3 times a day. I have a goal of having my boys take piano lessons. It's expensive. It costs money, but I have that goal. I really want my little girl to take dance classes. It'll just be unbelievably cute. So these are these goals that I have, and they're fairly immediate. Piano lessons need money now. Food now. All the time it seems. Roof over the head, all the time. And those are also goals that are worthy and admirable of, and definitely something that you should pay attention to, and you do. You just don't think of them as goals. They're not the glamorous kind that involves, relaxing on a beach and reading a novel, waiting for your pedicure or something. But those kind of glamorous goals that everyone talks about, 99% of us don't want those anyway. We want some security. We want a little bit of predictability. We want maybe some nice, maybe we want to help pay for our grandkids' education or something like that. We have good goals set in place. And when you look at rule 1 and you say, okay, all I'm going to do is just make sure that I look ahead to the here and now. Am I handling those things? Yes, I am. Okay, now I can look a little further ahead. How can I handle those things? It's pretty much what rule 1's about. You have to start with the here and now, and then you can look out. Another thing Brian Tracy said in part of his goals was people with clear written goals accomplish far more in a shorter period of time than people without them could ever imagine. So this is why I want you to actually write down how much you're going to spend on food, how much you're going to spend to pay your rent, even though it's the same every month. I want you to write down where you're going to spend every single penny. I want those all to be written goals. I want you to get in the habit of writing down exactly what you want your money to do. Your money will be more obedient when it knows that you've written it down and you'll remember what you asked it to do. And that's the same reason I don't want you setting up a budget like this annual budget and then revisiting it every 6 months. You won't remember what you even set up, or you set it up once per month and then you only look at it at the end of each month. I've been guilty of that in the past. It's not effective. It's much more effective to look at it more frequently. So when you have a goal that's written down, if you don't see where it's written fairly regularly, you're going to forget you said it. I'm trying to get my protein intake up, right? So what do? I can't just set a goal saying, I want to eat 200 grams of protein a day. And then a month later say, well, how did I do? I've got to be more on top of it. I've got to think with each meal, how am I going to get my protein? Maybe I could throw some cottage cheese in there. Maybe I should do this. Maybe I should do that. And be more on top of my situation. It's one of those things where you set it, and just like those mini goals, you want something that's achievable in the short term, and it builds over time. You build a habit. And so with protein intake, with hiking, with fitness, with not yelling at your kids. That's one of my goals, is not raise my voice. Stay cool, even though everything around me is absolutely total mayhem. So staying cool. There's another goal. Short term, though, I want to work on this today. How am I going to do today? And then at night, how did I do today? It's very effective. You wanted to say, hey, I want to lose 10 pounds this year. Good luck with that goal. You will hit that when pigs fly. You say, I want to lose a pound every week, and I want to lose a pound this week, and this is what I'm going to do today, tomorrow, and the next day to start my weight loss of this 1 pound this week. Now we're talking. And that's the same thing with your money. I want to be able to say, I've got a friend who's on a debt pay down system. He is sending $36 per month, $36 per day, every day to pay down his debt. He is sending a single payment for $36 every single day on his debt. Couldn't he wait a week and spend, what is that? Whatever 7 times 36 is, $200 something. Couldn't he just wait there and be a little more time efficient? He could. But doing it every day psychologically is extremely powerful. That's why I want you to frequently be sitting in front of your budget and looking at things, recording transactions, setting new goals when you get new money. And your goals will quickly align themselves with what you care about, and you'll start to feel happy about your money. This is why I like making people record their transactions, or on the go being ideal with your iPhone or your Android. If not that, then when you get home, every day or every other day, you record them then. People wildly overestimate the time it takes to enter your receipts. It's a 5-minute thing. You check Facebook for 15 minutes before you even start work in the morning, but you don't have time to enter your daily receipts. So, maybe we ought to somehow figure out how you could enter your transactions on Facebook. Maybe that would solve the entire problem. But just know this. Rule 1 is goals. It's all about goals. And we'll branch out from there. We'll talk about Rule 2 next week, probably, where we'll talk about longer-term goals and being able to foresee larger expenses that would have thrown you off track before. When you set these goals, your money will start to do those things you want it to do. It will align itself with your values, and you will feel happier. I promise you. Even if you're not making any more than you did before you started on this whole budget endeavor. Well, I shouldn't have said it. I didn't mean to say budget or budgeting. I meant to say planning, because you started planning. Happy Halloween, everybody. Stay safe, and we will see you next week.